So today on 2-Bit DaVinci, we're talking about neutral density filters or ND filters. And so I have here a ProMaster's Variable ND filter, and we're gonna talk about when to use them and how well they perform. So stay tuned. So first and foremost, a special shout out to Mark Bennett and Pete Wong for requesting this video. You guys know we love when we hear from you. We love getting your ideas for future videos and your comments in general, so keep them coming and we'll be sure to follow up with you guys. So here I have this ProMaster Variable ND filter. And the first thing I want to talk about is if you're going to invest in one of these, I would recommend that you get a bigger filter than you probably need for your lens. So for example, here I have the Panasonic 20mm f1.7 lens. It's a really fast lens, and this is the lens that I'm hoping to use this on. And here you'll see on the lens right here, it says it's a 46mm diameter lens. So I could have gotten the 46mm filter from ProMaster or any other company, and that would have been fine for this lens. But if I were to use a bigger lens in the future, well then I'd be out of luck. I'd have to buy another ND filter. So rather than doing that, I bought this absolutely huge 82mm, which is the biggest that they made. And here it is. Let's see if you can see the difference as I spin the barrel. So if you look at my shirt here, that's wide open, and as I darken it up, it kind of blocks it out. So this is way too big for my lens. And that's where the different adapters come in. So first, let's just talk about how to set this up. Okay, so here is our 82mm ND filter. So first we'll attach the 82 to 77 adapter. Okay, then we have the 77 to 55 adapter. And then the 55 to 49mm adapter. And then finally the 49 to 46 adapter. And that will bring us to the correct diameter for our Panasonic 20mm lens. And now you'll see that that will thread nicely. And there you go, that's what it looks like. So there we are. So now you can kind of tell it's a bit goofy because it does add quite a bit more thickness than you would have to, but this is a really high-end, really good ND filter, and invest in a really good one time. And with these adapters are about $10 each, so you can always adapt to different lenses in the future. And with a couple of these in your kit, you're good to go. So now with this, it will no longer fit in its carrying case, as you can tell. So I also got a little padded case for it all. So now when I'm done using it, I can unscrew the lens and put it away. And of course, the last thing is they don't come with a lens cap. I kind of feel like they should, but they don't. So you can go out and get a lens cap for any 86 or 82mm. This is actually an 86mm, which is what I needed to make it fit. So even though the filter is for an 82, I needed an 86mm lens cap. So you can take a look and make sure that works for you. But I can just squeeze it on, and now my ND filter is protected. And I've got my carrying case, and I can just leave it all together. So this is my fastest lens for my G85, and this is the one I really needed this for. So when I shoot with the aperture wide open in outdoor situations, I would be way overexposed unless I had this. And now with this little kit ready just like that, I don't have to keep threading these on over and over. I just have them all together, and I can just bring it right up to my lens and fix it. And I'm in business. So that is the technical details of the products you'll need, and we'll have links to all the parts you'll need to make this work for you. And again, the good news is this one ND filter will work for all your different lenses with just $10 attachments. Okay, so what does the ND and ND filter mean? Well, the ND means neutral density. And all that means is that it blocks all the wavelengths of light equally. And so it won't change your image, it'll just darken the image throughout the entire wavelength spectrum. And that's what you want. You don't want your image to change, you just want it to get darker and brighter based on your conditions. So now that we've gotten through all of that, let's talk about when you would want to use an ND filter. Obviously, in a situation like the one we're in now, indoors with studio lighting, you wouldn't use an ND filter. There's probably not much of a need for it because there's not that much light. But the minute you go outside and you shoot with the aperture open, or you do longer shutter speed, longer exposure shots, that's where overexposure becomes a problem, and where an ND filter would be the way to go. The first thing I'll say is here's the control here on top. You can probably see here. So here is the adjustment, and I'll kind of see if I can show you as it gets darker. So here is fully dark and there's fully open. So in the fully open configuration, you're still going to block a little bit of light, but it's about 1/3 of a stop, and all the way down to 8 stops at fully closed. Now, the one thing that I found and what I was reading about online is that with really wide angle lenses, that there's going to be a little bit of artifacts with these when they're fully closed. Okay, so now I have my ND filter pointed right at a light source, and I have overexposed the image to its maximum. So every sensor is just showing up white, and my ND filter is at its minimum setting. So now I'm going to just dial it up. So I'm at about halfway there now, and you'll see there hasn't been much of a change, and you'll see the change happening now. So you'll see that it's starting to get dimmer, and right about here, it should be pretty usable. So I'm at about, so this particular ND filter has 19 little markers on it. And so I'm at the 3rd to the last marker, and it's pretty even. So I'd say the 3rd to 4th marker is usable, but watch what happens if I go further. You'll start to notice something very weird. So here, you notice that the top left and bottom right are darker than the middle or the left and right. And if I go further, you'll see it kind of goes the opposite way, and now there's more light on the top right and bottom left than in the center. And then this is at maximum, and there's still that issue. So there we are. This is a 20mm lens, and so if you have a wider angle lens, you're not going to be able to use the last few stops of the ND filter, but it's still really good. And before that, it is really, really good. So here we've got, you know, all these different bands, and what I found is as long as I kept it before the 3rd to darkest setting, it was fine. It didn't have any of the issues. But with like portrait lenses and longer focal length lenses, you'll be fine. But if you have a really wide angle lens, and the wider it gets, the less stops of darkness you're going to be able to achieve. So keep that in mind. Now the construction and the quality of the lens is really superb. I have to say that wherever you set it to, it doesn't move on you. If you shake it or move the lens around, it stays put. It doesn't slide, it's not sloppy, and it has a really good feel. It's really easy to rotate, but it has enough friction that it gives you really fine control to get you exactly where you want to be. And you'll notice in some of the samples that I took, I was actually opening and closing my aperture and adjusting the ND filter to try to bring the two together. So hopefully you saw the depth of field changes as I was doing that. But I was actually, after about 20 minutes or so, I was pretty surprised at how well I could manipulate the ND filter setting to adjust for the longer exposure or the larger opening on my aperture. So I would definitely say that the ProMaster Filter is a high recommendation. They have a lower level as well, it's a little bit cheaper. But I got this one because it has a anti-glare coating and some other coatings to really help with the optical quality. And I figured if I'm gonna buy one, I should just get the best one, and I can keep it around for a long time. Now, the $250 price is for this really large 82mm model. If I had gotten the 46mm model, the actual size that I needed for my lens, that would have only cost about $100. So the larger the diameter for these ND filters, the higher the price. So keep that in mind. But at the same time, if I had to buy one $100 ND filter for this lens and a different one for my kit lens and some other lenses, that would add up and it would be more to carry around and more to break. And so I figured just get one in a large diameter, that way you can adapt it to use it for any of your lenses. So that is a quick rundown on ND filters, how they work, and this ProMaster model in particular. And I would definitely say it's a recommendation. You should check it out. We'll have a link to a couple of other models as well. I've only had a chance to use this particular model. I'm sure the other ones are really good as well. Read the reviews and I'm sure you'll be in good shape. But We hope you enjoyed it, guys. Thank you for tuning in as always. Thank you for leaving your comments. Again, thank you for those who requested this video. We hope you enjoyed it. We hope you keep the requests coming. Please leave the comments, give us likes, and subscribe to the channel. Give us our input. We're growing, we're new, and we love hearing from you guys. And we'll have Amazon links to all the parts that we've been talking about below. If you follow those links, it helps us out, keeps us going. So thank you as always, guys. We'll catch you guys next time.